Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I am Ben Singer, and with me as always is my co-host Trevor Scott.
Hello.
G'day. How are you doing this week, Trevor?
Not too good.
Yeah.
I got a really bad toothache.
So you're the one who's hopped up on painkillers this week.
Yes, definitely.
Lovely.
Lots of Nurofen Plus, which has codeine in it.
I'm hopped up on nature's painkiller, Scotch.
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
This is our final episode before you go on leave, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. It's coming up very fast. I'm leaving for Canada in a week. So this will be the last episode we record together for a while. Did you want to let our listeners know what's going to happen in my absence, Trevor?
So we've been doing extra long recording sessions. As we've sort of mentioned in the last couple of episodes, I'm going to be putting together some Bitstorm Juniors. So they're going to be half-hour pieces.
I think we decided to call them a bit drizzle.
Now you tell me. I've just got to plaster drizzle over our image. Yep. Actually, you know what? That actually works better. So not Bitstorm Junior, Bit Drizzle. So that's for the off weeks. On the other set of weeks, so we're going to go weeks. On the off weeks. I've actually invited some podcast friends to join us.
Yeah. Well, some of our previous guests, and
they're going to join me, and I'm going to do it by myself. So ha 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 ha.
Ah well, have fun.
Yeah, we'll just be sitting there going.
They better not be better than any episodes that I'm on, because I might come back and find my job taken. But no, I'm actually really looking forward to hearing Bitstorm episodes that I didn't take part in. That's going to be kind of fun.
You're going to be like, these guys really need me.
Yeah, one part of me hopes so, just so I don't come back and my job's taken, but the other part of me doesn't want shit episodes, so I hope you do well.
I just have to step up to the plate.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine, I think. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, I think so. So, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Maybe you should do the click pitch intro to get some practice.
Yeah, I've never actually done this part before. We really should have written this down, shouldn't we? Okay, so in front of us, we both have random word generators. And at the count of 3, 2, 1, we're going to click, and we're going to take those random words that each of us have and just come up with a random game dev idea. We're going to design the games and see what happens. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're just
Have we had a sad one? Have we had one that's just really torn at our heartstrings?
Not torn at the heartstrings, just the fact that we came up with the worst idea possible. And it was just sad.
Sadly.
No one laughed.
That is sad. A joke that no one laughs at is pretty sad. All right, shall we click?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, click.
Click.
Either elaborate or elaborate, depending on how you want to say that.
Would you elaborate on that
Recognition. Okay. So, this could be like a police lineup, something to do with police lineups.
Okay.
And it could be an aspect of a larger game, I guess. But that idea of that you witness something, and the game is that you only get to see this person for a split second, and then you have to pick them out of a police lineup.
Kind of like a memory game sort of thing.
Yeah, and it could be an aspect of like an LA Noire sort of game where you've got these really good facial animations and things, high def facial models and stuff, so that it's really tricky to figure out who the person was that you saw commit a crime or whatever it was, and maybe. I don't know, maybe you do have to elaborate on exactly why you're picking a certain person, like the things that you remember, whether it's about their clothes or their height or their hair or their glasses or whatever. Maybe you sort of have to pick it out a bit.
Ooh. Not just a picking out of a lineup sort of thing. What about if you're talking to a police sketch artist?
Yeah, I saw where you were going there. Yeah, that could be a different aspect of it too.
And
well,
then
that could be the first. Yeah.
That's the first step, and then
Yeah.
you've got to pick from the lineup. So
Yeah, that could actually be a real interesting experiment in, like the way people's memories change too. Actually, because the way that they fill out or the way that they describe them to the sketch artist, and then like the way that that comes out is actually probably going to color their ideas for, like, color their memories and affect who they pick in the end. That could be really interesting. And you could do some really fun procedural generation stuff.
I'm just thinking Monster Factory.
That's exactly where I was going. I feel like this is a game that would make a good Monster Factory, but it's almost
You're
designed to be
describing it first.
because you get to describe it. You can say, oh yeah, the ears would like
A little bit bigger.
3 inches
A little
long.
bigger. No.
And no, the left one was higher.
And pointier.
No. Their nose was right up in between their eyes. But then what the game does is procedurally generates a bunch of slightly similar looking
People
people to that. Yeah. Although I don't know how that works, because obviously we have to show the person, the player, something happening first for them to recognize. I guess it's just that.
I think it's a scene. So the first part of the game is it's literally called The Witness, but not that one. And
That's literally what it's called.
Yeah, it's literally called The Witness,
not that
but
one.
the other one. And so the first thing is each level you see a cinematic. It's just a short form game. You're only playing it for a small amount of time, and it's more about replayability.
It's a game jam game.
You can literally watch this scene, and each time that it plays, we've randomly created a character and a crime.
Yep.
And you're a witness to it, so you see this play out. And
I'm more interested in how we randomly create a crime. That's cool.
It's more, in this one, oh look, this could be a bank robbery, and it turns out that no, it's like an assault on the guard or something like that.
Right. So there's sort of different locations and then different things that
you
could
never
happen
know
in each
who it's going
location.
to be. You've got a lot of people around, and when you see that happen, you may only see this person for the smallest amount of time. So
are we guiding their vision, or are they just walking around in this space and they have to be watching out for something that happens?
I think it'll be a pretty short game if you didn't see it happening.
Well, yeah, but that might be part of the challenge. Because I'm curious, like, why, if they're playing this over and over again, why is this character constantly in the place where crimes happen? Maybe that's their superpower. Maybe they get, like, a spidey sense that, oh, I need to be in this place at this time because something's going to happen and they don't know what it is. And so that's the start of every level. It's just like, a crime is going to happen in this surrounding area within the next 5 minutes. And you just have to make sure you're in the right place at the right time. And if you really get it right, you might get a really good look at the person's face. Yeah,
and you saw them actually walk in.
Yeah.
And you notice, oh, that guy looks shifty, so you'd note down some.
Well, that's it. Actually, that'd be really cool because, like, yeah, you'd be looking at everybody in the area before anything had happened. But if you don't look at the right people, like, it turns out that little old hunched over man over there actually turned out to be someone pretending to be a hunched over old man, and they just, like, stand up straight and pull out a gun and shoot someone. Or like hold up the bank or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you could get harder as you go. Like,
I hadn't looked at that person properly.
Could get harder as you go. Like, the first level is a guy who's just pretty strange looking, and you can pretty much pick him out of the crowd. And the very last level is like an assassin who's wearing like a ninja outfit or something like that. So it's really hard to actually work out who that was, but if you happen to be in the right position at the right time.
Yeah, maybe it like comes down to the way they move or like their height or there's just one particular identifying feature on the part of their skin that is showing that you have to hope that you notice that.
Okay, so now I'm actually seeing this is almost DLC for the non-existent Hitman Season 2. That right. you play one of the people in the area for the final level anyway.
This is the like surprise at the end. It turns out it was a Hitman game the whole time, and this is the last crime.
This is the last crime, and
it's really easy. It's the one with the barcode.
Yeah. What I was thinking
Just scan
is,
them all. Just scan them all. I saw the barcode. It was 743201.
you remember that too easily.
I hope that's the actual barcode. I made that up on the spot.
Okay. Would it be 47? Okay, so what I was thinking is you just play one of the NPCs.
Yeah.
And you're walking around, but of course it could be like a 15-minute walk around and you're not sure who it is that you're following as such. Yes, you can look at the barcode, but maybe in this one he's actually used some makeup to cover it.
That would be smart, you'd think.
You'd think, but then again, how would you know if you were playing him M47? Anyway, so I thought that might be a pretty cool idea that,
maybe it's not just that it's the last level.
Within...
Maybe it's not just that it's the last level. Maybe in every level there's a hit that happens, but it's really like hard to see because it's fucking Agent 47. Like he's really good at hiding bodies and not being noticed. So that's actually just like an Easter egg. It's like the bonus thing in every level.
It's like the Where's Wally part of it.
Yeah, you have to. Maybe that's who's doing it. But that's just the first level. It's like it was the guy in the fucking red and white stripes.
I'm just imagining now that, remember how in the Where's Wally books how there were like other things that you could search for in each screen?
Oh, so yeah. Well, the later
the
ones had
one,
like 11
the
different
wizard
things.
and Wanda and
the dog.
Yeah. So as you replay each of the levels, yes, the person who's going to do it is always recreated, but at other places in the levels they could be,
other things.
A Hitman 47 guy doing something. There could be a Lara Croft stealing like an artifact, or just something cool.
You see Casper the Ghost disappear into the safe.
There's someone jaywalking.
I don't know why it'd be Casper. That's the first ghost I went to. Somebody jaywalk. Yeah, it's just other crimes. Maybe, and you have to like tag them as they happen or something, and then you have to do the whole sketch and line up for each of them. So it could just be one of these shortish run sort of games where, like, I'm just picturing Angry Birds, how you get 1 to 3 stars. It's like, yeah, you just get, for each crime that you find, you get a star. Collect them all.
The other thing that I would really love for this to have is like the very, very final thing after you finish it all, like the government come in and take you away, because it turns out that the reason why your character was always in these places is because they had some sort of future telling thing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they actually. It turns out you're just the mastermind for all of these crimes.
You're Mr. Glass.
yeah. You were looking for Bruce Willis. Looking for your hero.
No, what I was thinking is, remember the movie Minority Report?
Yes. Yeah. The
precogs. So you're one of the precogs.
Won't it be really obvious if you're like naked floating in a pool in all of these areas?
No, but that's just like it's the ending credit where you see,
right. So it turns out you actually weren't even in these places. You were just like casting your consciousness there into the future.
Oh, that could be cool. I was just thinking the government was taking you away to put you in the pool because they realized that you had some precognitive abilities.
No, yeah. You find out you were never in these places at all, and in fact none of the crimes have even happened. And then you get a little like after credits cutscene of them before all the crimes that can occur. The police rush in to all the ones you actually solved in each level. That'd be cool. So like the jaywalker. It's like, nope, don't step on that road. Our precog told us that this is going to happen. 6 cops around.
What I'm now imagining is, at the end, the words elaborate and recognition comes up, and then a P just comes out from the background. It's like, precognition. It was always there right in front of us.
That doesn't work, does it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It does. You're right. Precognition. Wow. That's cool. I was getting it mixed up in my head. I couldn't do it. Usually I'd be able to do that. That's kind of... That ties in really nicely. I think that finishes that one up very well. All right. Should we
I couldn't actually remember the word precog, but I'm just like,
Recog. Well, see, you had it on your screen. I didn't have it
Yeah.
on my screen.
And I kept on seeing it. I'm like, it reminds me of Minority Report, so I've got to bring it in somewhere.
That was good.
Let's click again.
Let's click again.
3, 2, 1. Click. Million.
Ideal. The ideal million. Okay.
Okay.
So is this... Okay.
No, I've got it.
Yeah.
So it's a game where your character at the very start gets $1 million.
Yep.
And your whole thing is, how do you ideally spend this $1 million?
Yeah.
And you
It's
can
kind of
you
where
can
I was going. Do you remember in primary school where you got that as a class assignment? Did you ever do that? It's like, how would you spend $1 million and you just have to cut things out of magazines and stick on a big sheet
I kind of remember
sheet
that.
of cardboard.
But I also remember, like, in high school, we had, like, the stock club.
Oh,
where you were given an X amount of dollars and you could pretend to invest it, and it was whoever came out.
You use the real stocks and fake money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all it taught me was, you lose a crap load of money in the stocks.
It's probably why they do it. No, but I like that idea. I like the idea that a single run of the game, it's sort of an open world sort of thing almost, or well, maybe not full on open world, but there's just so many different paths based on different things you can do, and it's all about basically finding the ideal path through this branching game based on what you spend that $1 million on. And there's an aspect of managing the money, like if you blow it all too quickly at the beginning, then
it shows you destitute and
like you can blow it on fucking fancy meals and cars that you then crash them. I don't know.
But what I love about it is it sounds like a lot of money until you realise that in Melbourne, like the average house price is
God, no.
$800,000.
You couldn't buy a house in Melbourne.
Yeah, you could.
Well, there's definitely houses in Melbourne that go for more than $1 million.
Oh, it'd just be awesome. You know, you've just bought this awesome house and all this sort of stuff, and then you realise that the insurance is going to cost you X amount of dollars, and then you get the rates notice, and it's like $15,000.
So is this game just a spreadsheet though? Like how do we make it fun to play? Because you got to be able to actually interact with some of these things.
Well, you can take the the realistic route of doing all these sort of things, and you can choose to go to work each day, or you can choose to give your boss the finger and quit your job and see how long that lasts.
Well, and I like the idea that you can just there's a stock market in the game, and you can just throw a chunk of money on certain stocks, and maybe you get lucky. And double your money kind of thing. Like maybe you make a bunch of money. And then the game just keeps going, I guess.
You could have, a thing where your character already has a house and they could choose to pay off all of it.
Yeah.
And, then you can have a little bit of a thing with, either you've got a wife in the game or you've...
Yeah, so I like
idea.
I do like the general idea of this. I feel like we need to maybe narrow the scope a little and make it a bit more of a narrative. Yeah, I like the general idea. I feel like it's a bit broad though. Like we're making it really open.
Yeah,
maybe it's your person. I think there should be a lot of things you can do, but I feel like there needs to be maybe a time limit to spend this money. Like it can't just be that you could make another $50 million on the stock market, and that just means the game goes like 50 times longer. There needs to be some sort of, maybe it's a time limit or whatever. Maybe it's that like you've got a terminal illness, and like the same day you find out you've got a terminal illness, you win $1 million, and you've got like 30 days to live or something. And it's like the way that you spend that $1 million in that time.
And then right at the end of the game, it pulls a funny people thing where it turns out that you never actually had it in the first place. And you've spent all this money and you could have...
Well, but that's part of it, right? Like you could choose to take care of your family and invest, or, be smart with it, or you can choose to just like, use those last 30 days to their fullest and go nuts. And
I would love to also have some, like, the Telltale sort of mechanics where they capture every single decision that you make, and then they say 50% of people chose to do this.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
45% of people decided not to tell their friends and family. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know that, and it'll just give a bit of an idea as to the psyche of people.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be really fun. Yeah, I kind of like that idea of, and yeah, you could still obviously give a lot of options, and maybe it's so hard to think of how a game like that would be structured, because you could do a semi-open world at least, but how do you give the player like meaningful interactions then? Obviously, you could make it that, okay, there are just stores and you can buy stuff at any time and do something.
And enjoy them in-game, kind of like Second Life.
So it's just Second Life, but we give people $1 million Linden bucks, whatever the fuck they are.
I don't know. I never played it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's cool. I do like that general idea. I'm not. Yeah, there are some design.
I'm not sold on it
100%, there, but yeah, it's fun. All right.
Put some guns in.
Well, you could just buy guns. You can buy guns.
Blackjack and hookers.
I feel like it could be a GTA 5 mod or something.
Yeah, I reckon so. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
Down.
Handy down. Did you say down?
Yeah, down.
Handy down. Not hand me down, handy down. My mind goes to hand jobs.
Same here. Hand jobs down there.
I don't think we should go that direction, but I just wanted to mention it for all those people with dirty minds out there who are thinking
who's
the same
just
thing.
screaming at their podcast player. Hand jobs!
Make a game about hand jobs. I've been waiting for 26 episodes. Wait, I think we've probably done at least one about hand jobs, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we did Blowjob Highway. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't there something about slow hand job or something? No, that's that video. Handy down.
Okay. So it's a handyman.
Well, maybe it's the guy's name. G'day, I'm Handy Down. And he is a handyman.
He's your local handyman.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a third-person action adventure.
Of course.
I
hear those are popular these days.
Yeah.
We make it a second-person action adventure. You can't move the camera from the front. No, I don't know. Is that how that would work? I
don't know. How can you talk about yourself in the second person?
Well, second person is because second person is when you're like in writing. Like first person is when you're saying like I did this, and second person is when you're saying he did this. Well, no, you did this. Like speaking to the reader, basically. Because third person is then just talking about other people. Like describing things that other people are doing. Second person is describing things you are doing. So really all third person games are actually second person games, aren't they? Sort of.
Oh,
because
God.
you're playing... Because it's like showing the narrative of what's happening to you as the player. A third-person game a third-person game is maybe just where the camera's detached from, and you don't play anybody. You just play as the camera, and nothing happens. All right. So anyway, third-person action adventure where you play a handy.
So it's a literal third-person adventure game where the handyman just does stuff, and you're the camera that has to follow.
Yeah, you're just like driving the narrative.
You're literally the cameraman.
That could be kind of cool, though, actually, if that had an effect on the game. So you're not playing anybody in the world. You're the, like, omniscient narrator that...
Haven't we talked about someone controlling the camera before? I swear that we have.
No, maybe, but I don't think we've talked about it in this way, where that drives... Like, because it could be that... This could be really cool. This could be really cool in that, depending on how you frame shots. So if you frame up the handyman and the fridge, then obviously those are the two important things in this shot, right? And so he's going to do something with the fridge. Like that's driving the narrative. If you like frame him up with the 7-year-old
With
kid.
the shotgun.
Like, I don't know. Well, gee, well, hopefully not all three in the shot at the same time. But that's a really fucking interesting mechanic. I mean, obviously, like so many of our games.
Is it VR?
No. I wasn't going to say VR. It's just that it's like impossible. It'd be impossible to actually code all those options. But if you've got enough different sort of major things in a scene that, yeah, like, okay, so if you're framing these things, then it could branch this way, or that this sort of thing could happen. That could be really cool.
So, are you controlling the camera in first-person view about a third person?
Yeah, well,
so you, the camera, moving around like a first-person sort of thing, but you can change the height. You can do a few other things, like you're almost one of those one of the characters with no clipping. You know,
that's it. Yeah, I was basically thinking that you're flying around like no clip. Like you've got no clip turned on, but where you point the camera, yeah, like
the character's trying to follow.
Yeah, exactly. The character's you're pointing the camera over here, so it tries to like make that shot work, basically. So they either come into that shot and do something with whatever you were pointing at, or the thing that you were pointing at does something. Like maybe it's that you zoom in on the microwave and it explodes.
And literally, there is a time that you can go into a room. Your character of Handy Down has got a sniper rifle. You can do a 360, and he takes out the character, and you literally get a 360 no scope.
Oh God. Well, no, but what that made me think
it's a long way to get there, but
yeah, it was pretty bad. No, but what I was thinking is what could be interesting is the way you move the camera could define the type of narrative it is. So if you're doing all these, I mean, the real issue is that you can't do cuts particularly. But if you move it around in like a real shaky cam fashion, then the game realizes that you want action to be happening. Whereas if you do like a slow zoom into someone's face, then that's an emotional moment. And if you do a slow zoom into the toaster, then the toaster's having an emotional moment, or maybe it's just about to pop.
And you see a tear come out of the top.
Yeah. Or, you do like, maybe you've got all the different camera moves and stuff. So you do that. What's that move called where you like pan forward but zoom out at the same time, or the opposite, and you get that like background.
So it goes into like a shock sort of.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, so you focus on something, and so that's something shocking has occurred, or something scary, or whatever. And the music, maybe the music
pretty much
follows.
At any time during the game, you can just hit the spacebar and it'll just pause, and you can reframe your shot.
Oh,
and
okay.
You hit the spacebar again, and your character, then moves and does the next part.
Oh yeah, that could be cool. And then at the end, you get to view, but in real time without the pauses and stuff, like what your final movie was.
Oh, I kind of like that.
That's cool. Like, so you're actually filming. Yeah, so I mean, you probably would have to set it just in this relatively small area.
Yeah, and it's like a scene of a movie sort of thing.
It's a scene of a movie.
You
could frame it, and the way you frame it changes it. Like, and there could be so many different.
Slightly,
yeah.
But...
Well, no, I think there could be really dramatic ways that it changes. Again, based on the way you pan and zoom, but also based on the things you focus on. Like maybe there is a fucking gun in one of the drawers. So that's neat. That's really cool. I fucking love this idea. Yeah, and you have obviously there are other characters in there as well, but so you do a 2-shot. They start talking. You focus on one other thing and something happens. Oh, that's awesome. I really like this idea. I don't know where that's enough. Like, I mean, we could probably go further. I don't know, but
I mean, I'm just imagining if you got to a certain spot and you're like, you know what, this didn't quite work out the way I wanted.
You can like rewind.
You can actually rewind like to a certain point. Once you get to a certain point in the game, it's like okay, save and cut that clip. And then the next sort of scene starts.
Yeah, you'd probably have to do that. You like separate it out into
you can
scenes,
back up in time and parts of the scene will replay just because you may want to go, oh, you know what? I don't really want him to go over for the scissors this time because, last time he started running with them and he fell and stabbed himself. So, I don't know, you could have some
and
fun,
the only reason he started running with them is because you
like
moved
that.
the camera too fast and he was trying to keep up. He's like, oh, the camera's moving really fast. It must mean they want to keep me in the shot. Oh, shit, I'm holding scissors. Stab in the eye.
Like, literally, you could have, like, the dolly shot, running, strafing.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to try to keep
down a corridor.
Well, what would be really
awesome.
cool? What would be really cool as well is you've mostly got full control over the camera, but it keeps track of what you'd actually have to do in a real world movie to make those shots happen, and it tells you how expensive at the end it is, because it's like you did 50 crane shots in these like weird configurations. These are
and
the
helicopter
setups.
shots.
Yeah, like helicopter shots. This shot definitely needed CG. Like it gives you a budget at the end, and so those are just achievements to get like the most low budget version of the scene, the most high budget version of the scene. Yeah, anytime any gore and stuff happens, like it detects the cost of that.
Because of the backface culling and all that sort of stuff that you get in the 3D scenes, you can actually go outside of the scene. Kind of like if you're going down a really narrow hallway, you can actually go outside of the scene, and it pretty much does it as like, the fourth wall you can see through.
Yeah. It figures that stuff out. Yeah. This is what Lionhead's game, The Movies, should have been in. Do you remember that game?
God, that's going back a while. But yeah, I love this idea, and it had nothing to do with handy or down. It's just handy down is the character. But...
That's it. That triggered us off, and that's fine. That's awesome. All right.
3,
2,
1,
click. All right, my word is flip.
Clock.
Flip clock. So my mind goes to those clocks where like the numbers flip down.
Okay.
Do you know the ones I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you do with one. That's just what I thought of.
Okay, so in the corner of the screen is a flip clock counting down from an hour.
Okay. Yep.
So in this game, you have an hour time limit to do X thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is you can maybe, during the game, you can either lose time or get time back for actions that you perform.
Oh, so it's a bit like that Justin Timberlake movie.
Yeah, but better.
Well, that's not hard. No, actually, I kind of like that movie. It had some interesting ideas. But anyway, go on, yes.
I haven't actually seen it yet, so I'm seeing it as... Maybe it's not open world as such, but maybe again third-person action adventure.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that you got to do. But if you like hurt people or something like that, maybe time gets taken away from you because you've got maybe time police or something like that.
Yeah, I like the general idea of because time limit games always give you interesting things.
Yep.
And this idea of winning back time.
By performing maybe parkour actions or something like that.
I wasn't expecting you to go to that. Well, I mean, parkour gets you around faster.
Yep. So that wins you back time.
So doing parkour wins you back time and falling loses you time? Like, so instead of getting damaged in this game...
It's all time mechanics.
You lose time. How does this work in the reality of this world?
So he's got something on his wrist that actually, tells him when he's going to die.
Okay.
And he's got, an hour to live.
That is exactly what happens in the Justin Timberlake movie, right?
Yeah.
They have a thing on their wrist.
I've sort of...
We're stealing that. So this is the license, but like not actually game of.
Yeah,
was it in time?
It's not a digital clock. Yes, it was in time.
It's a flip clock. Of course, I forgot that we were doing a flip clock. They've just got this giant fucking flip clock embedded in their arm. What happens if they just like flip them back?
It's got a force field around it, so they can't actually touch it. They shit.
Right, and then they lose another 30 seconds.
So I'm just imagining that they get told that, there's an hour left to live.
Yep.
But by performing certain actions and doing things for certain, like, I don't know, maybe there's
All right.
an overarching
because just to
bad
get
guy
to get
who
to
you're trying to follow.
get to the like the world that this is happening in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is the future and it's after the singularity, where computers and artificial intelligence has become so powerful. For anybody who doesn't know what the singularity is, it's basically when like AI gets to the point where it can improve itself, and because of the way computers work, like the more it improves itself, the faster that's going to happen. So literally, there's like a point where the exponential growth is just going to happen so fast that like this artificial intelligence basically just has control over the universe. And, all of our consciousness becomes digital and part of this intelligence. And yeah, so anyway, I'm thinking we're at least on the way to that singularity. Everybody who exists is now computer code. But it turns out that maybe we've expanded as a race in this digital world so much that we're running out of computer time.
Ooh.
And so this artificial intelligence that runs this society has started giving people or has set these rules for how you gain or lose how much time you have left for your process to run, basically.
Oh yeah, I like this.
And so how that works mechanically, I'm not sure, but maybe it is just like you can't die, you can't actually be hurt, but if you do things that in real life would cause you to die or be hurt, you lose time because it's like the computer's saying, "Oh, you're doing shit that is stupid, like you don't deserve to have that time."
Yeah,
I'm going to give it to someone else who's doing things better, basically.
So time is continually ticking down.
Yeah, but there's certain actions.
Kind of like Crazy Taxi, where time is continually ticking down, but doing certain actions will give you time back.
Yeah, so so I think maybe the game starts, and you've just been like, because I'm sort of picturing that for all other intents and purposes, this world, it just sort of seems like the real world. Like people, it's all simulated, but people are walking around, people are doing things. So as this game begins, you get shot in the head. And basically
That's reduced it down to an hour.
That's reduced it down to an hour. The computer said, all right, like part of this whole thing is the AI has decided it's sort of a survival of the fittest. If you do something that would get you killed in the real world, well, you probably don't deserve to continue living, but I'm going to give you a chance. Like, I'm going to give you this hour, and you have to redeem yourself to get back this time and convince the AI that your process should continue running.
Mm-hmm. I reckon the developers and the eventual designers of this could take this as, does this guy go down the path of a superhero, or does this guy go down the path of, someone who's just living out his last hour as,
yeah, so,
people as
well, let's have a think about the sort of options. Like, we could just go as simple as the sort of black and white moral decisions, but maybe it comes down to what this computer or what this AI feels is valuable in a human. In a human consciousness,
maybe as part of the game, as you go through it, you actually, you can, meet up with like a resistance member of all these people who have actually, been given the 1 hour to live before, but they're somehow still alive.
They've like figured out a way to. This doesn't actually make sense in computing terms, but they've figured out a way to fork their process away from the AI, so that the AI isn't in control. They become like a rogue process or a zombie process. That's a term that's used in computing.
Yep, zombie process, or maybe they become like a TSR.
Yeah, okay.
Terminate and stay rested.
Yeah, that's it. They're sitting in the background of this artificial intelligence of their operating system. And the root user, the AI, doesn't know that they're running there anymore. Yeah, you could do some real interesting narrative stuff.
It turns out that these people are a virus, as other computer terms, and worms and Trojans and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not thinking of going in a Matrix style, you are the one. Just think...
Or Tron,
I think
even.
It's an idea. Or even Tron,
aspects of Tron there. But yeah, I definitely like that idea of... Yeah, there's obviously a lot of good...
But I also like the fact that
references
this world is maybe like a steampunk world. That's why it's a flip clock.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah, I don't know where the flip clock comes in. I mean, the thing is about the singularity is like, you can kind of make the world to however you want it to be, right? You're all in this simulation. But yeah, maybe it's that this AI has sort of put its own spin on things, the way it thinks the world should be, and, or yeah, maybe it's a bit of a dictatorial AI, and so perhaps it's actually set all like humans have full reign in this simulation. They can't die really. They get this chance. But it's set technology back to like the 80s and won't permit it to go further than that.
So literally, there's just like neon lights everywhere. There's CRT monitors.
But we could twist
flops.
it though. It's like maybe it's its idea of the 80s. So this AI wasn't alive in the 80s. All it's got access to is like movies and stuff, but also it gets a bit mixed up with modern technology and stuff. So like maybe sometimes you do find people still have cool iPhone sort of things, but they
CRT.
but yeah, they're CRT. They're fucking heavy. They carry them around on a chain.
I'm just imagining it's like this iPhone-shaped box, except it's like really, really deep.
Yeah, there's like deep tube out the back.
But the touchscreen,
they're still touchscreen, but they're that old shitty touchscreen where like there's no dragging or multi-touch. It's just it detects the one place that you put your finger in, and it's usually off by about half a centimeter.
Oh shit! I love it. I'm also imagining like there's going to be advertisements with like max headroom on it, and just...
Well, I don't know if it goes back to the like all the pop culture of the 80s necessarily, and also we did that last week, didn't we? Or like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, true.
But
I forgot about that.
But no, just the technology and hence the flip clock. But it is in this because it is this simulation. Yeah, it's done in this completely unrealistic way where things wouldn't actually work. So yeah, everybody's holding these big CRT iPhones. They're not actually heavy. They're just really awkward. They've got fucking flip clocks embedded in their arms that tells them how long their process has got to run before they're killed.
I'm just
kill
wondering,
-9.
It is like part of the gameplay. Like as you do get down to that zero, you don't automatically die, but they send the kill -9 squad.
Yeah.
So it's basically a squad that's continually hunting you.
Yeah, you get the SIG term telling you you're going to be terminated, and you can either submit and just die, or they send out the kill -9.
And I think you can. The first part of the game is maybe you can keep doing all these things for the missions for the AI, and that'll give you X number of time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
but no matter how much you do, never is quite enough. So you may be doing something that's going to take you 15 minutes, but you'll only get like 7.5 minutes back. So.
Okay.
You're always
and
sort of
so
trying
for that
to work
last
out
7.5 minutes, you're also not only trying to finish the mission, but you're avoiding the kill -9 squad.
And I'm now imagining, you get to that zero, and that's when the second part of the game starts up, where the Kill Minus 9 squad comes out, but the Resistance actually sort of says, "Come with me if you want to live," sort of thing.
Yeah, that's like phase 2.
And then phase 2 of the game is like this, crazy action game. Trying to get away from the Kill Minus 9 squad while trying to take down the AI.
I like the idea that, depending on how you've played the first part of the game, for one, how quickly you finish the missions, two, how many side quests and things you complete, right? Because each of those just gives you more time.
But those side quests could actually strengthen the defenses.
For
the AI or something like that.
Maybe, yeah, that could affect things, but also it's leveling you up. So the longer you can hold off hitting 0, the more your skill,
the better it is for you.
The higher your level is, the higher your skills are when you get to that second part of the game. Basically you get to grind a bit. If you play well enough, you get to grind a bit and raise your level.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I kind of like it.
That's cool.
I just always think of those crazy taxi mechanics of, it takes you 40 seconds to deliver that passenger and you only get 30 seconds back.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it. It's just
I like the idea of crazy taxi mechanics in this sort of game that is more of it's a bit of a Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed kind of third person action.
And I think an hour is, literally a real hour. So the first part of the game is, you kind of fuck up the speedrunners, but
yeah, no. I think that you definitely start with an hour, but you design the game so that it takes you between 4 and 6 hours to actually have that count down to 0 based on how well you do and how much time you get back from completing missions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then it
could do it literally as a speedrunner, which is, okay, the first hour is literally you're going to try and do all the missions, but you're going to fuck them up so much that you don't get any time. You didn't do any of the additional objectives, and those things were the ones
in that case,
that
I
gave you
think their first hour
stuff.
For a speedrun would just be don't move the character. You just stand still, and then the Kill Minus 9 squad comes for you in an hour, and the Resistance comes to get you, and you get to do the next part of the game. And then the challenge is doing the second half of the game so well with no skills. Or
I'm imagining that the process would actually, how, I'm not sure whether you've played Overwatch, where if you're idle, it'll try and kick you.
Right.
So,
you're saying
if you're
that the
idle
AI
and not actually doing anything with your hour, it decides that your time is going to go down.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. Okay.
That's cool.
Let's click again.
I really like that.
3, 2, 1, click.
Present.
Substantial.
Ooh, a substantial present. My favorite kind of present. Do you play as Santa?
Having to deliver presents all over the world.
Well, I'm thinking of how Santa manages a substantial sized present. When some little kid asks for a pony, how does he fit that in his sack and down the chimney? I feel
magic.
I feel like this is yeah. Santa's magic.
Okay.
All right, go on. Yeah.
It's a game not for kids. It's actually, you're a parent, and how this parent deals with their kid who's asked for a substantial present from Santa, but they know they can't afford it. So,
Okay, so it's another money management game. You go find that guy who won $1 million.
I was actually thinking it was a point and click adventure game, and it was kind of like a Jingle All the Way sort of thing. But if he wasn't Arnie, and also this present was a lot more expensive than a doll.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Point and click adventure. So let's come up with a bit of a narrative then. So maybe you play the mum, and but you're a working mum, so you're in charge of you're in charge of making money and making the finances, and your kid has asked.
So you've got what, a stay-at-home husband?
Yeah, sure. Stay-at-home husband.
Husband.
What does the kid ask for? Something substantial.
Kid asked for
A trip to Disneyland.
Xbox One X.
That is substantial. That's a fuckload of money.
Especially in Australia.
Yeah, we worked in an E3 reference. All right. Xbox One X, it's obviously... Well, wait. I was going to say it's obviously a Microsoft licensed game, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a Sony licensed game poking fun at Microsoft for how expensive this shit is.
It's a Nintendo Switch game.
Okay, there you go. And so you're obviously a bad parent who doesn't just tell their kids, no, I can't afford that shit. Santa can't afford that shit.
It is literally, okay, to tug at the heartstrings a bit. Like,
ooh, okay.
The family has just gone through some sort of tragedy. Doesn't have to be spoken about.
They're in America, and the horrible healthcare system means that they're broke because they stubbed their toe.
And literally, this is the first Christmas since the tragedy.
Okay.
And so they're just like...
So they want to give their kid some joy.
Yeah, give their kid the one thing that is wanted all year since E3, wasn't it? Since Xbox One X was announced at E3.
This is set Christmas 2017.
Yep.
Yep.
So the idea is that maybe this parent has to go out to the massive mall sale, and then gets embroiled in like this, like,
so it is a bit
thing.
Jingle All the Way, and there's only one left, and they have to
there's
go
only
around
one
and
left.
solve puzzles to convince people to get it that they need it more than the others do. Okay, I like the idea of a point-and-click adventure set in a mall. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do there.
So maybe, there's some fetch questy sort of things. So you happen to talk to the manager of... I'm just thinking, okay, EB, so it would be RN Games. I'm just looking at the keyboard, just going one across. So RN Games.
Right. It stands for radio knowledge, but they actually didn't have much knowledge enough to know that knowledge starts with a K.
Yep. Like radio knowledge games. Yep. So I'm just imagining that the manager goes, you know what? I'll put aside this one that we've got if you go get me X. And, it's then like one of those big Zelda quests.
Well, yeah, or even just a puzzle
sort of
tree sort of thing in an adventure game. There's always that sort of thing. You end up 3 puzzles deep where it's like, oh, well, I need to find the hockey stick so that I can go over here and reach the fire alarm to pull the fire alarm to get rid of the mall Santa who's blocking the way or who's making the elf do overtime because the elf can get me what I need to get that Xbox.
So is the mum like the manager of like a shop?
Of a shop, so yeah. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Yeah.
So maybe she's the manager of maybe the supermarket or something like that, and she's got a few breaks during the day that she can try and organize this.
Right, so you kind of have to manage your work responsibilities throughout this as well.
You could do. I don't know. I think it'd be a interesting idea of doing a narrative game around Christmas, where maybe you can, as you're going, you can get phone calls from your husband saying, "Oh, did you manage to get it yet?" and all this sort of stuff, and trying to set a bit of a time limit sort of thing happening,
or at least like not an actual time limit, but some pressure in there. And it could be one of those games that really tears at the heartstrings a bit, pulls at the heartstrings. And
you find out more things about the the tragedy.
Yeah, like that gets revealed over time, and also just everybody in this in this mall, in this shopping center has their own story too, right? You can have the usual wacky characters, but you could add a bit more of that into it. Christmas for a lot of people is an emotional thing. Like, it turns out that, that elf who was going to help you, doesn't have anywhere to go on Christmas or something, because their family has disowned them for being an elf. Or, the fucking Santa has a drug problem. I don't know. You could come up with, I think you could come up. I feel like this is the sort of game that I really want to do on an adventure game design done quick, and we spend a whole hour on it. You could come up with some really cool characters and cool puzzles and narratives and stuff. But no, I like that. I like that.
I like it too. Let's click again.
All right, I think
our
I've got
final
time
one
for
of
one
today.
more. Yeah,
3,
2,
2, 1 click.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were waiting for me or just like dramatic pause.
I was, and then you didn't say anything.
Well, that was my dramatic pause. We had the exact same length of dramatic pause. All right.
Yep.
Give me your word.
Unit.
Deep unit. Okay, so submarines. Unit is so unit could be anything.
Okay.
A unit of something, or describing, like a vehicle, like this such and such unit.
So this is going to go to a show that you don't necessarily like. But in Doctor Who, there is a task force called Unit. And so...
what do they do?
In this game, basically they're kind of like...
Tasks?
United Nations something, like I can't remember.
Right.
Unit, Doctor Who... Unified Intelligence Task Force.
Okay.
So, UNIT is Unified Intelligence Task Force.
Intelligence Task Force.
UNIT.
That's a fucked up way to do an acronym, but anyway.
Yes, it is. Previously called the United Nations Intelligence Task Force. That's why.
Right, okay.
So, anyway, you play a unit...
a unit?
A unit member, or unit, who's deep undercover.
Okay.
And you're dealing with an alien invasion.
All right.
And so all through the game, it's basically been said that the Doctor's nowhere to be found. And you've got to do sort of first person shootery things, just trying to figure out what's actually stopping the Doctor from getting to the planet.
Have there been any Doctor Who games?
There has been, but here's the thing: they've all been shit. So,
like
my idea is that, yes, you're not going to play the Doctor Who because he doesn't like violence.
We're not going to play.
Guess
who?
what?
You're not going to play who?
We're not going to play the Doctor.
Okay. Even I know. You said you're not going to play Doctor Who. Even I know that's not how that works.
It's just set in that world,
yeah, okay.
And the final part of the game, when you finally sort of stop this plan from happening, you hear the TARDIS sound,
the Doctor
and
finally
then
shows up, and it's a procedurally generated or randomly selected Doctor from all 13, 14, 27.
No, you don't even have to see the Doctor. It could be. Did you ever play one of the Call of Duty Modern Warfares? So, right at the very, very end of those games, there's a scene where you're pretty much in a final shootout. Mm. You get hit. You're pretty much dead on the ground. They go through the final things, and then
the TARDIS shows up.
Just as you're about to pass out,
yeah,
you see the helicopter come overhead.
Right.
And so, just as you're about to pass out in the final act, you hear the TARDIS sound.
You just hear it. Do you see it start shimmering in?
You start to see it materialize, and then it blacks out, and you just know
the end
that
of the game. But you know that everything's going to be okay.
But you know that everything's going to be fine. You've just saved the world because you managed to pull down this force field that stopped the Doctor from coming through.
Right.
So that's the end of the game. The rest of the game is literally you're going through.
So you're a grunt. You're a grunt in the Doctor Who universe.
Yes.
But you presumably you kind of have all these run-ins with him or her. There really should be a female Doctor. Get to talk to him on the radio or on the. Well, how does he communicate?
I don't think that
Sonic
the Doctor's actually communicating.
Oh.
I think what's actually happening is you're talking to some of the old companions.
Oh, okay.
So they're basically helping you out. There's people from units who sort of, they've got in contact with these companions and it's like,
Yep.
go over here and
So you get cameos from all the cheap people.
I'm trying to actually do this as a real,
I know, but I don't know fuck all about Doctor Who. Those angels show up? I don't know.
The Daleks show up at one point.
Of course. You make friends with one of them. He exterminates some things. I don't know. Cybermen? That's a thing, right?
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe
really
this
like
could be a bit of fun
online
having
sex rooms.
Having kind of like, if you remember the game Elite Force.
I was always told not to talk to Cybermen, or at least don't tell them my real age or location.
Do you remember the game Elite Force?
Is that the Star Wars one?
Yeah, Star Trek one.
Oh, sorry, I was getting it mixed up with what's the one?
Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, what's the one? What's the Star Trek one? The Star Wars one I was thinking of, where you play the stormtroopers. That was quite good, and everyone wishes they make a new one of.
TIE Fighter?
No, well, that's
Dark Forces.
No.
I can't remember the Rebel or the
Republic Commando.
Yes, Republic Commando.
Yeah,
I've got that. I like that game.
But yeah, Star Trek. I do remember Elite Forces. That was the first person shooter one set in used in the Quake 2 engine or something.
Yeah,
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was. I like both 1 and 2.
But you're talking basically you're referring to games where they kind of you take on a secondary or a more minor character, a minor role in the
Star Trek
universe.
parlance. You take on a red shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know. I reckon that would actually, for people who know the Doctor Who universe, they'd be going, oh, this companion turned up. But for everyone else playing it, it's like, this is just a cool action game that happens to be happening when some sort of alien invasion's happening. And oh look, there's that weird BBC show that I've heard so much about and it's been going on for 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
Just happens to be part of it. But for real fans of Doctor Who.
Yeah, they're going to get all the little in jokes and references and stuff for sure.
Yeah, but there's still a good storyline going on in the background.
Yeah, I'd play that. Oh wait, that's our tagline. Shit, shot it
anyway,
too early.
I think that's about it.
All right, yeah, that was a good episode. We came up with some really good shit today. I'm proud of us. Good job, Trevor. Well done.
Good job, Ben. I think we've gone out on a strong episode for the last time that you'll ever be seen.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to replace you while you're gone.
Well, I mean, chances are I just won't come back from this trip. I mean, planes and all. Who knows? The state of the world. Terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'll be fine. So, who the fuck does the outro? I don't know. Thanks for joining us today on Bitstorm. You can find us in a few different places: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Bitstormcast, on all of those. You can find us on Podchaser. That's the site I made. If you don't have a login, you can use the beta key Bitstorm, all one word, to get
and
in
then
there.
just use Facebook or Google just to log in. That's the easiest way to register.
Not on mobile though, not yet.
Not on mobile, not yet.
It.
You were fixing that today.
Working on it. Yep. But yeah, go there, rate and review us there. It's really easy compared to iTunes.
Yeah, but if you are iTunes bound, then you know what, you can rate review us there as well. It'll really help us, and also subscribe there so you get all the latest episodes.
Yeah. We'll have that feature.
That's always good.
We've got a website, bitstormcast.com. All of our episodes are up there.
We'd like to thank Kuridas for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment.
Mountain Defiance, yes. We're in that band. Thanks, us. Let's plug AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. We've got a bunch of good friends there who also do gaming podcasts, lots of good stuff. Reset Podcast, Hungry Gamers. I believe you're facing off some
Friday
Overwatch last Friday when this airs.
Yes.
I'm sure you did really well, Trevor. Good work.
Yes, I'm sure I did too. I've only played for a little while, but I've been told that the guy who's actually going to be running it on his Twitter stream, he's only starting tonight when we're recording. So,
okay, so you won't be the worst person playing.
I won't be the worst. I'll be the second
you
worst.
weren't the worst person playing.
Yes.
Last Friday. All right, I think that's going to do us.
This is all getting very timey-wimey.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you make a fucking Doctor Who game. Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm Trevor Scott.
I'm Ben Slinger. So, Trevor, a game where you control the narrative based on the framing of the camera that you also control.
So basically what Peter Molyneux's at the movies should have been?
Yes, that.
I'd play that.
Awesome.